We are back in the center of the South at the Omni in Atlanta, where tonight the New York Knicks at 10-6 take on the 10-8 Atlanta Hawks. And now the starting lineups will be introduced to the crowd assembling here in downtown Atlanta.
At guard, 6 feet 3 inches from St. John's, number 13, Mark Jackson. At center, 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At forward, 6 feet 9 inches from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. And at forward, 6 feet 8 inches from Wichita State, number 32, Xavier McDaniel. The trainers for the Knicks are Mike Saunders and Tim Walsh. The assistant coaches are Dick Harder, Paul Silas, and Jeff Van Gundy. The head coach is Pat Riley. And now, with head coach Bobby Weiss, assistant coaches Bob Weinauer and Johnny Davis, and trainer Joe O'Toole, let's meet the 1991-92 Atlanta Hawks. At guard, 6 feet 2 inches from Michigan, number 22, Ramil Robinson. At guard, 6 feet 8 inches from UNLV, number 2, Stacey Altman. At center, 7 feet even from the University of Oregon, number 41, Blair Rasmussen. At forward, 7 feet even from Michigan State, number 42, Kevin Wilkins. And at forward, 6 feet 8 inches from the University of Georgia, number 21, Dominic Wilkins. The officials for tonight's game, as assigned by the NBA, are Steve Jammey.
There's Bob Weiss, a career record of 112 and 152 last season in Atlanta, putting the Hawks in the playoffs, where they lost in the first round to the Detroit Pistons, and that was really a sticking point for the Hawks. They had really hoped to get by Detroit, thinking they could do more damage in the postseason than they did. Their record, however, was a relatively impressive one for this franchise, 43 and 39. Weiss, however, felt if things had gone a little differently, the club could and should have won 50. So far, the Hawks have been impressive on the road at 5-5, and that's the foundation of their 10-8 record. The Knicks at 3-6 on the road. This, of course, another edition of the brothers Wilkins meeting once again. Gerald Wilkins and Dominique. And John, there's been an awful lot of talk both last season and this, that Dominique, 9 years into his career, has undergone a massive transformation in how he views his contribution to the Hawks and what he wants to achieve for this team.
Well, he has come off as a selfish player for much of his career, but last year, in which he was considered by many to have been his best year, he rebounded well as scored very high, and gave up the ball as well, so and paid more attention to defense. So the perception now is he's a more all-around player.
Hawks are coming off a victory over the Houston Rockets, including in that game a 12-0 run in the fourth quarter, in which they gained control of the game. Dominique Wilkins had 39 points, and unlike some other teams that focus around big scorers, the Hawks win when Dominique puts up big numbers. In their history, when he scores 40 or more, they're 31 and 11. As Mark Jackson brings it across here at the Omni, we are underway, Knicks and the Hawks.
1 week ago tonight, it was a 27-point win for the Hawks against the Celtics as Mark Jackson opens things up. So the Knicks have a lot to think about, or have had, I'm sure, prior to the opening moments of this game. They have to respect this team.
Blair Rasmussen guarded by Patrick Ewing, and Ewing will have to stay with Rasmussen outside most of the night. Jackson on the steal, and he has all 4 Knick points. Ramil Robinson, wearing number 22, second-year player from Michigan, settling into the starting role he thought he should have had last year. Dominique hits for 3, and it's 4-3 New York. Ewing over the fingertips of Rasmussen with the foul. Patrick in last night's game against Boston, 12 of 21, 28 points. Rasmussen's first foul, first of the game.
Rasmussen out there with a lot of size He's a very big guy. Rasmussen comes into this game substituting for Paul Graham, the unknown player who's made this team, as a forward, but they want to put more size, the Hawks do, against the Knicks.
And Graham, who was scheduled to start, to that end was pulled at the last-minute starter, being Blair Rasmussen in the game right now. 6'3" Knicks. Dominique backing it on Gerald, goes hard off the glass and short. It is all blue shirts underneath, and the Knicks bring it up. Oakley bounce pass, a beauty. Snappy assist from Charles Oakley. Romeo Robinson at the point for Atlanta. And a whistle. 20-second timeout for Atlanta and Bobby Weiss.
We've already seen 2 plays that have cost the Hawks points because of their youth. Augman dribbling by and not noticing Mark Jackson, which turned into 2 points in the opening moment. And then just now, Ewing coming down court unguarded. Absolutely unguarded. Contact paying no attention to the movement of Patrick Ewing, which is unbelievable. Those 2 instances separate the Hawks from the Celtics. Defensive awareness not quite there with this young team, and that's the price they pay. This Hawks team has lost some very bad games this year. They've lost to Detroit, believe it or not, Al, 3 times. Not to mention a loss to Charlotte and Washington as well.
Augman out for Rasmussen. That's where he'll play most of his game. Off the mark, and Xavier McDaniel brings it across. Augman, like Greg Anthony, wearing number 2 in honor of Jerry Tarkanian. A scramble for the ball. It will belong to the Knicks.
The defensive play of this man is what made him such a desirous player in the NBA draft last spring. Stacey Augman brings size and defensive ability. And how many rookies bring defensive ability?
Frequent scouting reports on Augman include the name Dennis Rodman. Mark Jackson off to the quick start. He has 6 for the Knicks, who lead Atlanta. Knicks are perfect from the floor at 5 for 5. Hawks 1 for 3. Of course, most Knicks fans are looking forward to seeing Maurice Cheeks make an appearance in the game. Oh, getting just over 21 minutes of contest for Bobby Weiss and the Hawks.
Rasmussen having no problem going around Ewing, who stepped out to challenge him, respecting that jump shot.
Patrick goes to answer and does.
In a big way. What a big move. I don't know if you recall, Al, but when Patrick Ewing came into the league, it took so long for him to go to the basket with his shots. Now he is doing that regularly, where he finishes a move going in toward the basket instead of fading away.
Mark Jackson with a good start against the second-year Romeo Robinson. Jackson slides to the lane, and the first Knick miss. And a loose ball foul. There's Maurice Cheeks. The Knicks got Tim McCormick, who's now on the injured list. Atlanta got Mo Cheeks, and that could have been, had things worked out, a great mix for Atlanta. Still is. But when you include Travis Mays in the mix, which Atlanta thought they would, this would have been the veteran touch to a very young backcourt, but Mays is out for the season. Romeo Robinson adds 2.
He adds 2 with a very impressive, beautiful spinning move, and then finishing it off with his left hand.
Romeo is one of the many guards who seem to come into the NBA put in a position not ideally suited for his talents. Most people see him as a 2 guard more than a point, and most people feel right now he's at best a 1.5, but out there he is.
The same with Augman, who played in college at forward, and now he's playing at the guard position. Gerald Wilkins cans one.
Rasmussen slides left and down the lane, and way short, follows again, and it just won't go. The outlet pass, Ewing for Jackson. Crossover right side, looks cross court. Wilkins can't get it to drop for the second consecutive shot. Willis on what should be one of many rebounds on the evening. Rasmussen rejected by Ewing, but a foul on the block.
Rasmussen has not felt a Knick body on him under his basket. The same problem the Knicks had last night on the offensive boards of the other team is occurring here in the opening moments. They're getting too many opportunities. No one's even looking at Rasmussen, Oakley or Ewing. He just walks right into the picture and gets that ball.
Here's an interesting number, John. Centers in the NBA average 21% of their points from the free throw line. Blair Rasmussen gets 7% of his points from the free throw line. Just doesn't go to the hoop. Yet, on the last 2 trips up the floor, He has been very involved under the basket. Made the first. It's 8 now 9. 14-9. New York.
He makes such a lot of money too.
Well, you know what's funny? The two big centers who had controversial big contracts, Koncak and Rasmussen, when he was with Denver, are now on the same team. That's a big payroll in the middle of this lineup for Ted Turner and company.
One can't score and one can't rebound. What a wonderful life.
Nick Biss and Rumeal Robinson right down the center. Stops, looks for help. Hawks bring it outside. It's Dominique guarded by Xavier McDaniel. Kevin Willis comes out to set the block. They try to work the give and go or pick and roll, and it just doesn't work. Gerald, very strong to the hoop and too strong off the glass.
And two players missing Ewing, who all he needed was a little lead pass. He had beaten his man down. He had position. And McDaniel or Wilkins just couldn't figure out a way to get it to him. Ewing helping out on the double team, active defensively. Charles Oakley on the case, along with Gerald Wilkins.
Good team defense, which has been the cornerstone of the success that the Knicks have enjoyed this season. On defense, Gerald Wilkins hits the first, and we saw there another example of the one thing that has been plaguing Gerald Wilkins. Again, great moves to the hoop, and then sometimes the inability to finish it. Slides it in. It is 16-9 New York. Almost 5 minutes deep into the first quarter at the Omni. Stacey Augmon guarded by Xavier McDaniel. Jackson on Robinson. Oakley fouls Kevin Willis.
The other reason for Rasmussen starting tonight is to keep Kevin Willis away from the need to guard Patrick Ewing. One of the fears that the Hawks have is Willis naturally getting in foul trouble, and guarding Ewing, there's a good chance he would.
Willis is up for 2. And while we're watching his rebounding total, which stands at 2, it is Blair Rasmussen who's been pulling him off the boards for Atlanta. He has 5.
Rumeal Robinson penetrating at will, setting up that play.
Jackson, very involved in the offense. Mark Jackson, he now has 8 points, and single-digit scoring has been the story for Mark Jackson for most of this season. He is now moving up to lead the Knicks. Ewing with 6. Dominique through the lane. The foul, but not the hoop.
Mark Jackson only got 19 minutes of play last night, even though he started, so you know he's anxious for more playing time.
18-11, Knicks in front. Back in Atlanta, Al Trautwig for Marv Albert along with John Andres. Dominique Wilkins 18th on the all-time NBA scoring list. 3 points so far tonight. He's averaging 27.2 on the season.
Taking a look at the Payne-Weber leaders, when you talk about scoring average over a career, though, Dominique is number 7, in with the greatest of the great. He is the only active one right now, so his numbers are tremendous. 26 a game throughout his career.
Dominique at the line, and he makes the score 18-13 with 6:30 to go in quarter number 1. Jackson pushing it forward against Rumeal Robinson. Now for the X-Man. McDaniel, 0 points in the game so far. 0 for 1 from the floor. Willis slaps the ball, moves in on Ewing, stolen. Team defense for the Knicks coming up with a steal. Wilkins on the run.
Great part about that play was that Gerald Wilkins was the one helping out, causing that turnover.
2013 Knicks off to a good start. Stacey Augmon outside, X-Man on him. Augmon moves to the hoop. Rasmussen. That's his spot. Loves the mid-range jumper, and he nails it in for Atlanta.
He had no one guarding him.
Whistle underneath, and they say Rasmussen was pushing off on Ewing, setting up for position. John Starks, who's been almost a guaranteed double-digit scorer off the Knicks bench, checks in. Xavier McDaniel sits. So it is Gerald Wilkins, Mark Jackson, John Starks, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, a 3-guard rotation against the Hawks, who step to the bench and send in Paul Graham, number 25. Wilkins in traffic, hands off to Ewing, who was definitely fouled but sunk it anyway.
Beautifully done by Gerald, because he had committed himself to the drive.
Ewing with 8, tied with Mark Jackson. Wilkins up against Ewing and goes glass. Knicks push it up again. It's Dominique out on Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson spins.
He's dying to go around him.
And Charles Oakley hits his first shot. 2 points for Oak. John, we have this problem with Pat Riley standing directly in the way again. Could you please do something about that?
That's a mean pick, Al.
John Starks is called on the foul. That's his first, just off the bench. I mean, there's Pat right in line with what we have to see.
Well, he went down on one knee. He must have heard you.
I doubt it.
That's a team player, obviously. This is the amazing Paul Graham, who had started 3 games, free agent. Not too many people knew about him, and he started doing good things in the USBL this summer. And he's earned a spot on this roster. Travis Mays being hurt, he came in and filled the hole. He started as forward, but he's about 6'7", maybe. So in matchup situations that offer an imposing front line that the Knicks do, he did not start tonight.
Wilkins popping out, guarded by his brother. Oakley sets what almost is a moving block. Ewing sets up and in danger of 3 seconds has to step out of the lane. John Koncak in the game for Atlanta. Ewing over his fingers. Oakley has the ball stripped. Riley screaming at the officials. Back comes Rumeal Robinson. The steal by Starks. Right down the middle. Bounces for Jackson underneath John Koncak.
You'd think Koncak would at least try and waste a foul by stopping a man almost a foot shorter than him instead of just kind of softly putting up the arms.
Alexander Volkov also into the game for the Atlanta Hawks. Volkov. Better inside than he is outside. Volkov misses from long distance. Starks. He's off the mark. Dominique on the rebound. 26-18 in favor of the Knicks. Hawks have turned the ball over 5 times so far in that category. The Knicks are perfect.
Knicks are getting into the rushed offense that the Hawks feature.
And Paul Graham has drawn the second foul from John Starks. Anthony Mason checking in for the Knicks, and Mo Cheeks makes his debut against his former team, albeit for a brief time, the New York Knicks. Here's Paul Graham once again. He led Ohio University in scoring 2 years ago, and in that USBL stint, he made the All-Star game and was the MVP of that All-Star game. Ironically, he's one of 2 players, and this is really a rarity these days in the NBA, one of 2 players on the Hawks roster who were not drafted. Dwayne Farrell is one, and Paul Graham is another. Last check, the list of players on NBA rosters who had not been drafted was at about 15. Ewing in on Koncak.
No hands up by Koncak makes it easy for Patrick Ewing.
Cheeks guarded by Jackson. It is Anthony Mason guarding Volkov. Wilkins on his brother. Starks and Paul Graham going up against each other. And Ewing with Koncak. Dominique, how many fakes involved there?
Oh, look at Gerald's reaction. He is furious. When you see Gerald react like that, Al, you know you gotta believe him. Never seen him this angry at a call, and he's highly sensitized because, you know, the arena here at the Omni is filled with the Wilkins family.
A big T against Gerald Wilkins. I spoke to Tim McCormick, by the way, John, and he said, I said, how many tickets did you have coming back home? He said, I only got 2. No one dared get any more because Gerald needs all our extra tickets.
Take a look at Gerald facing his brother for the 2 millionth time. And he's seen Dominique's repertoire throughout his whole life. Where's the foul? Where's the foul? Gerald wants to know.
There were 4 head fakes involved in that move. Dominique misses the back end of his free throw chances, and that gives the Knicks a 5-point cushion at 28-23. Ewing on the move, double team, Mason on the follow, and drops it in.
In traffic rebound with taller people, and Mason gets it done.
Ewing and Jackson leading the Knicks 10 points apiece. Dominique Wilkins pacing Atlanta with 10 as well. Volkov out of bounds. Looked like it might have been deflected, but I guess not. Timeout on the floor here at the Omni. Bob Weiss looking at the scoreboard. His team is down by 7. Knicks with the early lead, which they've held for the most part in this first quarter at the Omni. 30-23. Mark Jackson with John Starks, Gerald Wilkins, Anthony Mason, and Patrick Ewing. Wilkins drives around Volkov and snaps the net. 32-23. Knicks by 9.
The matchup, Cheeks and Jackson. Oh, how much we heard about those two last year.
Volkov lumbers. Mason cuts him off. Now the double team on Dominique. Paul Graham. Ewing is smacked by Konkak, and there'll be a foul on the Hawks' big man.
Konkak is coming off a battle with the flu that has kept him out of the lineup for several games lately. And he is not sharp. In fact, he didn't play the last 3 games at all.
Must have been a heck of a case of the flu, huh?
I know, he's a big guy. He took a lot out of him, but he's also playing very soft out there.
John Starks pulled quickly by Pat Riley. Xavier McDaniel back in the game. Quite a physical battle going on between Volkov and Mason. Patrick Ewing, who Pat Riley said is our best medium-range shooter, hits it from the free throw line. It is 34-23. That's hard to believe, John, but when you really think about it, about who can hit from that distance most consistently, it has been Patrick Ewing.
Paul Graham with a very slick move inside.
Jackson guarded by Cheeks. Matchup of irony.
Xavier McDaniel trying to get position, rocked. Man guarding him, Dominique Wilkins, with the offensive foul.
It was funny, Xavier turned to the official and said, "Hey man, that was an offensive foul." The official said, "That's just what I'm calling." Cheeks. Just missing on the steal was Jackson. Volkov all net with 47.4 remaining in the first.
Volkov is 6'10" tall and has a fine range on his jump shot.
Double team. Jackson looks inside. Mason misses the layup. Tries to keep the rebound alive. Dominique over the shoulder for Cheeks. Wilkins for Volkov. Can he save it? He does. And it drops. Paul Graham.
And Maurice Cheeks ever aware on the inbounds pass.
And the Knicks almost made it worse. So they close out the first quarter of the Knicks do, leading 34-29. We're 25% complete in Atlanta. Half of the 6 defeats for Atlanta and Kevin Willis this season have come at the hands of the Detroit Pistons. So it is frustrating, you might imagine, when the Hawks take on Detroit. Here's November 27th, Kevin Willis and Isaiah Thomas. Look out.
Isaiah didn't like that big elbow of Willis wrapped around him. However, Isaiah, being a guard, was in there with the big guys, and you're going to get in a tangle sometimes, but Isaiah's very quick to react.
Kevin Willis, $3,500 the fine, and Isaiah fined $3,000. So I guess the league figured there was a $500 differential in who started what. We move into the second quarter at the Omni. Patrick Ewing over John Konkak, and Volkov with an explosive muscle-bound rebound.
Volkov at 6'10", Willis a 7-footer, Konkak a 7-footer. That means, Al, Xavier McDaniel has got to bang hard. He has not been doing that.
Double sub by Pat Riley. Gerald Wilkins and Mark Jackson see only 37 seconds of the second quarter. Greg Anthony and John Starks off the Knick bench. Konkak. Rebound, Willis inside, and John Stark steals one away from Kevin Willis. Up the floor, Anthony Mason. Contact fronts him. Paul Graham watches Starks send that one over his head to Ewing. Lots of banging underneath. Fresh 24 for the Knicks. They clear it out for McDaniel, who has not been a factor in the offense at all. For McDaniel, that is only his second shot. He's 1 for 2, 2 points for the X-Man.
Well, that's a patented move he has on spinning jump shot.
The Knicks know he has the patent. They just wish it would go into production. A surprise for the Knicks defense. It results in an easy hoop for Paul Graham. 36-31, Knicks by 5. Anthony now guarded by Cheeks. Ewing guarded by Contact. Graham guards Starks. Volkov on McDaniel. Willis with Mason. They clear it out, the Knicks do, for McDaniel. Spinning on Volkov. The shot does not count.
Hawks foul is number 8, Alexander Volkov.
Knicks will inbound, came before the shot. Volkov missed all of last season with surgery on both wrists in which he had broken bones. He had played much of the previous season with those broken bones. Just didn't want to tell anybody. I might have gotten the translator involved in that one. Anthony. Short. Trying to follow, and a whistle inside. Kevin Willis is called on the foul. So far, his rebounding numbers have been very human. He has but 2. Stacey Augmon back into the game, replacing John Contact.
Anthony's still having trouble finding the touch over his last 8 games. 27% from the field, 12 for 44.
And 0 for 1 tonight. Starks. He is off. Rebound battle won by Anthony Mason. Charles Oakley, a very quiet game in Boston last night. Anthony Mason. Out for Anthony. Drives, looks for help. Starks. Very crowded in the middle. Good defense on a collapse by Atlanta. And out come the Hawks. It's Graham once again. Getting a lot of minutes.
Willis's 3rd rebound, by the way.
There he follows for number 4 and number 5.
No box out. What has to be of most concern to Pat Riley is there's no apparent attempt to box out. At least look for the guy. Somebody look for the guy to get in his way. Hawks coming down, crashing down low as Charles Oakley just moved out of the way by Willis. Willis is 7 feet tall. He deserves some attention.
Watch it, watch it.
McDaniel. He bangs it in. It is 38-33. Knicks hang on to their 5-point lead. The Omni about 80% full for tonight's game, and a whistle. Dominique checking back in. Alexander Volkov out of the game. Greg Anthony called on the foul, his first. I look at someone from what was the Soviet Union, John, and I just wonder what it's like to see your home going through what Alexander Volkov's home is going through. He comes from the city of Kiev. Mo Cheeks to the line.
Every once in a while, this guy decides to go to the basket, as he just did.
He has yet to take a shot from the field. 38-34. Greg Anthony piloting the Knicks ship here in the second quarter, which has 8:29 to go. McDaniel, nice pass. Anthony foiled on the tight defense underneath, and Dominique sends it out for Cheeks. Cuts past McDaniel, runs it up, and lays it just off the rim. Atlanta getting much too much underneath. How many opportunities?
Well, the fans recognize the effort of the Hawks.
It's almost more impressive that they get that many chances than if they put it in. And finally, Kevin Willis.
So the answer is the Knicks are being outworked.
Greg Anthony, Pat Riley waves his hand in the air as you see Greg Anthony deliver that message to his teammates. A set play. Starks scooting along the baseline, popping out. Whoa! He got Paul Graham up on his back.
Starks with the fake.
Hi-ho Silver.
Tell you, got to be quick to go for a fake, Al. You've got to have good reflexes.
Starks is okay. A dangerous moment.
That was a Larry Bird type fake.
Fresh 24 for the Knicks. Xavier McDaniel coming to life for the Knicks. He now has 6 points. Ewing leading the way with 12. Nice dribbling by Stacey Augmon and the scoop.
That's where he's used to working out of the forward position. On the side.
Now the other running rebel in the game, Greg Anthony, tries to dazzle Mo Cheeks. Knicks working around the perimeter. Anthony Mason guarded by Willis. Now on the switch, it's Dominique. 5 on the 24. And Kevin Willis grabs another rebound. He now has 7 as that number rises for him. Dominique. Mason did a good job of staying with him, but Dominique wins in the end.
And they clear out that left side for him to operate.
So adept at spinning at the pivot point of his foot. And the Hawks have battled back and even things. It's 40 all with 6:23 to go in the half.
A real winner knows how to party right. Please use good sense when you drink. Know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
Kevin Willis, part of the Atlanta Hawks attack that is dominating the Knicks in the rebound department. On the offensive boards, it's 9-4. On the game overall, it's 22-12. McDaniel looking inside for Ewing. Tries to spin, gets Willis up in the air, and then seemed undecided whether to go glass or straight for the hoop.
Well, and that's why Willis is staying away from Ewing as much as possible, but on that exchange, guarding him and committed the foul.
No, John, he didn't play, Kevin Willis, organized basketball until his junior year in high school. Maybe that's the reason he's blooming late. He just got a late start.
I was asking Johnny Davis, the assistant coach of the Hawks, before the game about that. And he pointed out that Moses Malone is in here. Willis has been quoted as saying he had such respect for Malone, one of the all-time great rebounders around the basket, that that kept him away from the boards a lot. But Moses hasn't been here the whole time. The feeling is he's concentrating much better. And it has nothing to do, as Johnny Davis, former fine player in the NBA, has nothing to do with contract, because his contract was extended last year, went into effect this year. He's not playing out of contract. Often, a lot of times when a player makes a dramatic move like that, the feeling is he's playing better because of the money.
Stacey Augmon gets the assist. Blair Rasmussen gets the hoop, and it is 42-42. A steal by Cheeks, but a foul in the act of theft.
But the feeling is that he is concentrating much more, preparing himself for each game, and playing with great intensity.
Mo Cheeks sitting down. Bob Weiss going to his bench.
Well, there was no protection by Anthony, and Cheeks, like a cobra, jumped all over the situation, but there was some contact by him.
Once or twice a game, Greg Anthony still is getting a lesson in plays very similar to that. And he steps to the free throw line.
Talk about lessons. Davis was telling me also why this team has lost 3 times to the Pistons, who have been hobbling, and to Sacramento, and to Charlotte, and to Washington. He said because they haven't mastered the intensity factor in this league. This young Hawks team, many of the players are so young, particularly in the backcourt with Robinson and Augmon. They look at a team's record like Washington or Charlotte or Sacramento, and they think that it's not going to take all that much. But as Davis has pointed out, you know, as Bobby Weiss has, every night you've got to play at your best because a team can beat you no matter who they are. There is so much ability in this league.
Illegal defense charged against the Knicks. That is their first infraction. It is only a warning. Atlanta will inbound.
Also, Bob Weinauer sitting next to Johnny Davis, assistant coach, also to Bob Weiss.
5:20 remaining in the first half. Mark Jackson takes his warm-up off. He's getting set to come in. Greg Anthony cuts away from Ramil Robinson. Pulls up for a tough shot. It is shots like that that is making Greg Anthony shoot 33%.
The problem was, though, is Dominique penetrates right by Ewing. Mason is bringing his man into the way of cutters a lot. He did that to Ewing before, made it tough for Ewing. He did it for Anthony then. He commits the block and not the charging foul he was trying to get. I see Mason a lot of times on offense in his attempt to get to the boards and do a good job rebounding, which he does. He will bring his man into the way of the cutter and actually create a 2-on-1 defensive situation against the Knicks player who's going to the basket.
Anthony Mason checks out. Mark Jackson checks in. Anthony Mason is pulled, and Charles Oakley goes back for the Knicks. Steal inside, and Gerald Wilkins will be called again on the foul. He commits against his brother Dominique. Stacey Augmon, fall away. Ball net. Augmon now with 4 points for Atlanta. Patrick Ewing, relatively quiet since his good start. Backs in on Rasmus. A lot of traffic again. Triple teamed as he took the shot. Followed by McDaniel. Now the Knicks tied up at 46.
The Knicks' big three combining on that one to make it happen.
Dominique all alone and wide open from long range. Back comes Gerald. A little wild as he tried to finish the play. At the other end, Augmon. Followed by Willis. Atlanta's getting up the floor in a hurry.
The Knicks are showing the Hawks no respect on the Hawks' end of the court. They're not identifying their men early enough.
Transition defense of the Knicks has not been working very well either.
Talked moments ago about Anthony going for a move, but a second before he started, Mason brought his man into the path, which made Greg Anthony pull up for that short shot. He couldn't then beat too many. Had already worked on his own man. The Knicks are not clicking defensively right now. That's their problem.
This program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of MSG Productions Incorporated is prohibited. But then again, Greg Anthony knew that. Mark Jackson guarded by Ramil Robinson. The Knicks led at 1 point, 34-23, an 11-point lead. Now it is Atlanta by 4.
Good to see Ewing from Pat Riley's viewpoint hitting those shots. But there's a pattern once again of the Knicks going to Ewing and standing still.
Outside lane, Patrick.
Ramil Robinson causes defensive havoc on the switch. Jackson finally steals it in for Ewing. 3:20 to go in the half.
Three Knicks above the circle, and I believe Pat Riley is saying they're not all on the same side, as Ewing appeared to be on the other side by the ball. But you cannot isolate 3 men above the circle. A rare call.
That is a very rare call.
That avoids one-on-one play, so Michael Jordan can come out every night and beat his man one-on-one.
Dominique is off the mark. John, that might need a little explaining as to the intent and to how it's called. McDaniel couldn't get it beyond Blair Rasmussen, and it'll be Atlanta ball. Here's the call.
You see, 3 Knicks are above the circle. That is ruled illegal on that play.
Rasmussen pushed out by Ewing. Kevin Willis fronting Oakley. Nice pass. Blair Rasmussen finding the cutter, Romeo Robinson. And the Knicks have seen an 11-point lead turn into a 4-point deficit, 52-48. Starks on the move and over Augman and Willis with the foul. Potential 3-point play for John Starks. A whistle stops play. A timeout in Atlanta. To say it was rare might be an understatement. The Knicks called for isolation. This is section 15 of the NBA rulebook.
3 offensive players above the tip of the circle on the weak side results in a violation. Ewing was to the right side, closer to the ball than he was to his other 2 teammates, and that's what Pat Riley objected to. It appeared Ewing was not on the weak side, but the isolation was called.
As a result, the Atlanta Hawks got the ball. Riley protested, and on we go with 2 minutes to go, and the Hawks leading by 1. John Starks completed the 3-point play. Dominique on Xavier. Dominique Wilkins leading the way for Atlanta. The only Hawk in double figures. He has 18 on 7 of 11 shooting.
He is showing his offensive muscles.
Oakley sets the block for McDaniel. He's got it. Xavier McDaniel in double figures. 5 of 7 from the floor. 10 points.
Xavier following that big first half he had last night in Boston when he had 13.
The double team and a Knicks steal. 4 on 2, and Starks throws it away. Jackson just couldn't save it. Back goes Kevin Willis, trying to follow inside, and successfully is Paul Graham.
It's so rare to see Charles Oakley out there and not banging people around and taking up space and grabbing boards more than he is tonight.
Second chances for Atlanta is killing the Knicks. Ewing pops out in tight traffic. A tough pass from Oakley. Starks way short. He does not have the touch so far in this game, and Ewing follows from just inside the free throw line.
The Knicks are still not synchronized offensively. It still seems to be a one-on-one offense out there.
Starks is 1 for 6 from the floor. Robinson in for Willis. Hawks clear it out. Jackson tries to help. Almost gets the steal. And Rumil off the mark. Ewing on the bound. Last cycle of the clock. The Knicks will play for 1. You see the time. Jackson is knocked down by Rumil Robinson just as the buzzer was getting set to sound. It definitely came before the buzzer.
This year, there is a game clock on top of the backboard along with the 24-second clock, so players can see without searching the arena, as you have to do here at the Omni, for a clock. The Knicks could see what they were facing.
And so with the first half all but officially over, Mark Jackson steps to the free throw line with a chance to give the Knicks a lead. The best he can do now is tie it. There you see the new clocks installed this year. Game time above the 24-second clock below. And so the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks will head to their locker rooms tied here in Atlanta, 56-56. At the half, we'll have a full report from the MSG Sports Desk and then bring you back here courtside at the Omni for first half highlights and all the stats and scores and stuff. 56-56. Well, there's the numbers story, at least part of it, here at the Omni. Atlanta and the Knicks tied at 56. We came into this game talking rebounds and centering around Kevin Willis. We're still talking rebounds here at the half, for that is a large part of the story favoring Atlanta. But let's pick it up with shooting and numbers that are surprising.
Yes, the Knicks shooting the ball very well in the first half as a team. And that's what has kept them in this one, because they have been out-rebounded. The Hawks doing a fine job as well. They have dominated in this department. Willis already in double figures for rebounding, and Charles Oakley outstanding in a sense that, in a way that he doesn't want to be outstanding. And the offensive rebounds again going strong as the Knicks still fail to box out.
So on we go into the second half. The Atlanta Hawks and their home whites. Blair Rasmussen looks inside. Wilkins from Oakley. Following inside is Stacey Augmon, and they say that Augmon was successful in his effort. It will be Hawks ball. Augmon in his rookie year out of UNLV, the 3 top first-round picks: Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, Greg Anthony. Anthony the lowest at number 12. Xavier McDaniel gets things started for the Knicks. He has 12, and he's putting up a good number from the floor. That's 6 successful. I'm sorry, Dominique Wilkins. How am I doing? Dominique Wilkins on the shot. He has 20.
Great play by Rasmussen, getting in the position that Mark Jackson wanted.
Ramil Robinson races the length of the floor, only to be met by Patrick Ewing on the block. Wide open is Gerald Wilkins. Rasmussen the rebound, out for Ramil Robinson.
Nice try by Ramil, but his teammate Kevin Willis was too close to him to exchange that ball.
Xavier McDaniel with the air ball with all sorts of room.
Xavier was 5 for 7 in the first half. He brought a good touch here tonight until that moment.
Kevin Willis from distance. Rebound Knicks. Fast-paced start to the second half. Jackson's attempt to pass it across the floor was deflected. Pat Riley signaling play number 2 for the inbound. That, by the way, I have cleared it up, John, is Xavier McDaniel on the inbound. Wilkins posting up as Ewing quickly on the double team, tries to flip it around the floor. Jackson quickly recovering Atlanta defense. 5 on the 24 as the Knicks bench erupts, counting it down. Xavier McDaniel now has 12.
The defense rests when the offense stands around. It makes it very difficult for the Knicks to score when there's so much standing around.
Stacey Augmon on a great fake, then falling down. May have twisted an ankle. Now he looks all right. Willis on the drive, jumps it off. The Hawks with 5 on the 24 lose the ball.
A nice play, wasn't it, Al?
Yeah, worked well. McDaniel, plenty of time to think about it. Too much time to think about it. 58 to 58. And Willis is fouled by Patrick Ewing.
Very tight call.
It's not like this game was on the verge of getting out of hand, at least to me.
Well, Willis hadn't even gone anywhere. He's just moving around very gingerly with his back to Ewing.
Steve Javey, Ron Oleziak, Luis Grillo, the officials in tonight's game. Ramil Robinson with the save near the midcourt line. Jackson bounces for Wilkins. And the Knicks set up a play.
Knicks call out fist, and everyone in the Hawks knows what's going to happen. It's going to go to Ewing.
And it does with the foul. Ramil Robinson is called for his second foul of the game. Ramil Robinson and Patrick Ewing both attending Ringe and Latin High in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They're doing something right at that high school.
Knicks have to get back to their ways prior to last night, and that is tough defense in the second half. During their 6-game winning streak, they had only allowed 39 points a game for their opponents in the second half.
19 points for Ewing with a free throw still to come.
Remember, when you're having good times with friends, use good sense and drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
Back at the Omni, Patrick Ewing hits the free throw and now has 20 points on the game. The Knicks have the 2-point lead with 8:50 to go in the third. Al Trawigan for Marv Albert, along with John Andres. Blair Rasmussen way outside, and Dominique is picked up by McDaniel. They clear the lane, but Dominique pulls it up. Rebound for Oakley. A long outlet pass, and McDaniel is stripped by Rumeal Robinson. It'll be Nick Ball. Pat Riley spent a large part of that previous timeout talking with a smile to Charles Oakley to try and get him pumped up. That was his pass to McDaniel,
who thought he was all alone for a layup, and what a surprise. And he's looking for a foul call, which doesn't happen.
Good look inside, and Mark Jackson misses the inside shot, followed by McDaniel, but there'll be a loose ball foul. Foul against the Knicks on Charles Oakley. That's the third personal foul on Oakley.
Charles has taken one shot tonight and made it, and he also has one rebound.
It's almost hard to play that many minutes, John, and put up those numbers.
Played 17 minutes of the first half.
Not the most beautiful shot taken by Alexander Volkov. And a loose ball foul called against Kevin Willis.
Kevin Willis setting a pick, constantly moving, keeps moving, keeps moving, keeps battling with Oakley.
Willis has 11 rebounds in the game. Gerald Wilkins hits from outside, and that is 10 points for Gerald. Knicks with 4 players in double figures. Atlanta with 2. Paul Graham off the bench with 11. Dominique with 20.
Gerald 4 for 7 now from the field.
Hogman outside for Willis. For Rumeal Robinson. Oh, I love that sound.
Fine shot. Jackson was all over him.
Now McDaniel backing in on Volkov. The double team forces a move around the perimeter, and Gerald Wilkins is open but off. Kevin Willis. Another rebound. He has 12. Robinson. Nicely defended by Jackson. Willis again, but short.
Oakley battling to stay in front of Willis.
It's a great pass from Volkov, and it won't fall.
Boy, did Oakley work to stay in front of Willis. Oakley got lucky as Willis missed that short one ultimately.
Oakley tries to counter and does. Charles Oakley with only his second shot. He is perfect, 2 for 2, and maintaining his 50% shooting on the season. Knicks by 4. Rasmussen.
7 feet tall, and he drills that jump shot.
As I said, 4 7-footers on this Atlanta Hawks roster. They would have had 5 had they kept Tim McCormick. Jackson loosely uses the Oakley pick. And a slowly developing play for the Knicks that clears out Ewing.
Who's it on? Kevin is Kevin. 42, he's right there. This man's out there. 42.
Kevin Willis is signaled in the illegal defense. That's the first call against Atlanta. It's a warning. As Brian Quinnett checks in, he's been seeing limited minutes lately, and Xavier McDaniel sits down. Dominique Wilkins getting set to come back in. McDaniel sits 7 of 12 from the floor, 14 points, 3 rebounds. Dominique brings his 20 points back onto the floor for Atlanta.
Brian had 10 minutes in Charlotte. That was his last play for the Knicks. And that was a good 10 minutes he spent.
Ewing. You got to say this. Blair Rasmussen, in spite of the fact that Ewing's been hit that shot, has been really making Patrick work hard for every position he sets up on the floor. Dominique on the run. Too hard off the glass, and Quinnett in the tangle inside for the rebound. Jackson pushes it up the floor, but nobody came with him.
Ewing looks like he wants to eat up Rasmussen inside.
And a whistle stops play.
He came down and gave Rasmussen a shove to get the position he wanted. Then he got the ball. Important for the Knicks. outside men to recognize when Ewing is working hard and he does get position. Got to get him the ball then.
The foul occurred before the shot. Atlanta only has 3 team fouls, so the Knicks inbound. Fresh 24. Quinette guarded by Volkov. Gerald's wide open, but way outside. Ewing with some space. He's tangled up by Rasmussen again. The foul is not on Blair Rasmussen, but it is called on Rumeal Robinson reaching in. And sends Patrick Ewing to the line. Ewing 4 of 5 from the free throw line tonight.
Patrick has led the Knicks in scoring 8 out of the last 9 games.
Looking for Wilkins, now Rumeal Robinson.
Dominique trying to post up his smaller brother guarding him.
Dominique, so high and almost so hard off the glass, but it drops in for Wilkins. He has 22. Robinson the steal, the save by Wilkins. Followed by Ewing.
Well, he beat the NBA's leading rebounder to that one. Devin Willis couldn't handle Ewing on that move.
And the Knicks have hard-worked themselves into a 6-point lead, 70-64. Volkov. Rasmussen from distance. That gives Rasmussen 12 points. Jackson, way short. It was a 2-point attempt. Now the organist tries to get the Omni crowd to come to life here in support of the Hawks. Hawks have taken 3 straight. And they'd like to keep things rolling. A foul inside. Patrick Ewing called on the foul. Is he slightly limping?
Ewing working very hard as he did on the last hoop. Patrick following that ball in. He was not boxed out, and Willis paid the price. The Knicks are finding themselves, Al, now in a situation they found themselves in last night with certain mismatches that are not going for them. Gerald Wilkins at 6'4" is guarding his 6'8" brother. And Dominique continues to roll. But last night the Knicks had problems with Fox on Boston and with Reggie Lewis, both guys playing the backcourt, both guys being guarded by Gerald Wilkins on occasion, as Gerald also was given the job of handling Larry Bird once. And those mismatches hurt them last night. It was clearly stated by the Celtics, and the Knicks are finding that a little bit here again.
Rumeal Robinson, only a 62% free throw shooter, hits them both. It is the Knicks by 2, 70-68. Paul Graham back into the game for the Atlanta Hawks, guarding Gerald Wilkins. Good look by Ewing for Oakley, and fouled as he rose to the hoop.
Well, Graham was the victim of that nice cut by Charles Oakley.
Second foul on Paul Graham. Maurice Cheeks checks into the game for the Atlanta Hawks, replacing Rumeal Robinson. In the first half, Cheeks saw 10 minutes of play, 0 for 1 from the floor, 1 point and 1 assist. Charles Oakley drops it in. Speaking of Maurice Cheeks, he is part of the answer to this question. What do these players have in common? We were both stumped on this one, weren't we, John?
11 names there. I think you could spend the rest of your life on this one, Alan. You might not get it, no matter how big a fan you are.
All right, next whistle will let you in on it. Think about it for a moment. Some well-known names that have spanned some years.
And then think about a trade the Knicks made.
Oh, John.
All right, a little hint.
Jeez, John.
Little hint.
Give the viewers some credit. There's the answer. It's Tim McCormick. Those were all players who were involved in trades for Tim McCormick, who has done some bouncing around. But the worst thing that Tim McCormick could have done in his life was to buy a house in the first city that he played in. He was traded twice before he ever played a game in the NBA after he was drafted.
Well, our mad electronic wizard Howie Singer thought that one up, dug it out, and anybody who guessed that has a right to have dinner with Howie.
Yeah, Howie's got too much free time. I think that's what that shows. Dominique Wilkins drops it in. He's been an offensive standout tonight, and the foul.
Dominique with Brian Quinnett looking at him now. Goes baseline. What a tough move.
Dominique completes the three-point play, and it's 72 Knicks, 71 Atlanta. This game has taken on, as you pointed out, John, many similarities to the game last night in Boston. Early lead for the Knicks, tight second half.
Gerald going baseline and using that backboard.
Little Wilkins magic at one end and some more at the other from the other Wilkins. 74-71. That's the time remaining in the third quarter.
Dominique is 10 out of 16 tonight. He has been struggling with his touch, which he recaptured in their last game in Houston.
Dominique again. Hitting the two jumpers, once again pulling the Hawks to within one.
Prior to Houston, Dominique was shooting at a 36% clip. He found a touch the other night, and he's got it again tonight.
Jackson across the floor, Quinnett. And it'll be stolen away by Dominique. Roll the videotape. Pat Riley does not like what he is seeing. He signals the tee and the timeout on the floor.
Matchup's the key to every game. The Toyota matchup is revealing as usual. Brian Quinnett on the pitch out. Dominique Wilkins so quick, so aware defensively. One of the reasons he is a better player is plays like that. And against his brother, he's more than double the output from the scoring end, 29-12. The Wilkins family will be happy here at the Omni in Atlanta one way or the other tonight.
He's coming off that 39-point game, and as we pointed out earlier, the Hawks are very successful when he puts up the big numbers. Patrick Ewing in traffic, tipped up beautifully by Gerald.
Gerald beginning to come on strong now himself. The Knicks up by one, hanging tough.
Paul Graham picked up by Brian Quinnett. Anthony Mason has the warm-ups off. He's set to check in for the Knicks. Gerald using a lot of hands, pokes it away, almost scooped by Jackson. And Paul Graham scoring a big one for the USBL here tonight.
I would say he could possibly be the most obscure player in the NBA right now, Al.
14 points for Paul Graham. Ewing slaps it out. They'll get another chance. Jackson.
Knicks getting contributions now from other than Ewing, taking some of the focus defensively away from Ewing, which will help this team.
Game tied once again, as it was at the half, 78-78. Under a minute in the third. Dominique inside, outside, that time off the mark. Charles Oakley continues to play a very quiet game. Only 2 rebounds for Oakley. Mark Jackson is short. Rasmus on the outlet. Wilkins pulls away from Jackson and takes it all the way and just so easily off the glass. Unbelievable.
He's getting some unreal shots up now, and they're going in.
31 points for Dominique Wilkins.
Oh, Gerald missed Ewing on that pick and roll.
Mark Jackson almost had it blocked, gets it over to Ewing. And he bangs it in for his 27th and 28th points. 13.6 for the Hawks to do something. And guess who they clear it out for? Alexander Volkov, a bull down the lane, sending Charles Oakley to the floor. Unsuccessful in the attempt, and so the third quarter decides nothing. We're still tied in Atlanta. Patrick Ewing has something in common with another player on the floor tonight. He was part of what was a well-stocked 1985 draft. Here you see the top 5: Ewing, Tisdale, Benjamin, and on to Joe Klein, Chris Mullen, Detlef Schrempf, Charles Oakley at number 9, and Ed Pinckney. John, only 3 players with the teams that drafted them.
What a year that was.
Maybe the biggest bust is Benoit Benjamin, who is enjoying a bit of a resurgence in his career. Knicks on the miss, Hawks on the rebound as we move into the 4th quarter here at the Omni in Atlanta. Al Troutwig along with John Andres. Things have been tight in the second half. Earlier in the game, back in the first half, the Knicks enjoyed what was at one point an 11-point lead. Dominique Wilkins draws all sorts of Knicks defense, and one of them fouled him.
Dominique, the slam dunk winner last year, All-Star Weekend, flying tonight. And that ability to spin after the defense denies him the first move makes him virtually impossible for one man to guard.
Foul was on Brian Quinnett as Dominique Wilkins tries to increase his numbers, and does. He now has 32. Here's another little interesting note. There are only 3 active scoring champions in the NBA right now. Michael Jordan, who's done it a ton of times, so that sort of obscures it, but Dominique Wilkins is right there. But the big reason for the shakeup this year is that for all the greatness of Dominique, the Hawks have nothing to show for it in terms of team success. And so the big shakeup. John Starks with the whistle, and he drops it in.
Nice exchange by the Knicks, also keeping that middle open for Starks to penetrate. Mason seeing Starks on the cut. Starks going adeptly to that left hand.
And you know, it's funny how things happen in a given city at a given time, John. You know, the Atlanta Braves go to the World Series. The Atlanta Falcons are at least respectable these days. Maybe it's the Hawks' time. Certainly New Yorkers know that. 1969 and 70, great time to be there. And other cities have sort of been able to develop a momentum that goes from one sport to another. Volkov on a nice fake. It drops in, and the foul.
How's that for 6 foot 10 inches tall?
Foul is on number 14, Anthony Mason.
Volkov with Mason, and Mason's a quick guy. And he finishes by using the backboard beautifully. 2 of the last 3 games, Volkov has had his season high of 20 points in each of the games. Both wins.
Volkov drops in the free throw, and the Hawks have the lead once again by 3. Mo Cheeks in the game guarding Mark Jackson. An offensive foul inside charged on Patrick Ewing. Xavier McDaniel back into the game for the Knicks. Brian Quinnett to sit. Ewing still questioning the call. Knicks enjoying a relatively mistake-free night. Only 6 turnovers. But as John and I were saying last time we went to a commercial, if you didn't see the scoreboard and watch the game, you'd think the Knicks were down by 10 or 12. Volkov trying to repeat his move to the hoop on Mason. We're not talking graceful in Volkov, but he somehow gets to where he wants to go.
Well, he's fast.
Anthony Mason called on the foul. Hawks will inbound.
This is a fast guy too. Volkov gets the ball, then he turns on the speed, bends that shoulder in.
Dominique looks inside and gets Kevin Willis. For the 17th consecutive game, Kevin Willis has put up a double-double. That's his 9th and 10th points to go with 16 rebounds. Hawks by 5. Mason tries to get the follow. Xavier McDaniel finally does. Ewing went big time to the hoop and slams it off the glass with the foul. That was about as powerful as a power move can be without being a dunk.
Good look by McDaniel, seeing Ewing. Strong.
And he got hammered too, John.
Once again, the Knicks now tied at the end of 3, need a big 4th quarter effort. And I point, Al, to Xavier McDaniel. Necessary that he take some of this offensive load up front away from Ewing.
Knicks got the second chance on the Ewing miss. 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Oh, what a play by Cheeks.
And a tough pass inside. Cheeks brings the Hawks up the floor.
It was a mismatch. Cheeks was on McDaniel, and he still got the steal.
Dominique can't miss. With the foul.
The big players want the ball in key moments of the game. Dominique does it. Little flourish, too. You know, it would be Dominique to have a ball go in and around the rim before it goes in. I mean, probably works on that aspect of his shooting.
You're right. You're right. It would be more beautiful if I could get the ball to just roll around a little bit before it goes in. Hawks by 6, and their defense is giving the Knicks fits.
Sloppy pass by Starks.
Cheeks for Paul Graham. Pat Riley shaking his head and wants a timeout. He is extremely frustrated at what he is seeing as a repeat of what happened in last night's game at Boston. Hawks by 8.
Time for New York Telephone's call to the bench. This call to the bench is brought to you from the New York Telephone Regional Calling Area. It's bigger than you think. And once again, the bench of the opposition doing a big job, and the Hawks are outscoring the Knicks 23-7 from the bench. Cheeks with a nice pass back to the unknown until tonight by the Knicks, Paul Graham, who has tied his season high, his first year in the NBA, with 16 points.
The one very obvious thing missing from the Knicks bench effort tonight is John Starks, 2 for 7. Ewing from way outside, and he's on target to draw the Knicks to within 6. Dominique Wilkins doing it all for Atlanta. He has 36 points. Ewing has 32 now. Ewing very vocal on the floor and trying to get the Knicks involved in the game. Volkov on Ewing. Patrick tangled him completely up.
Charles Oakley with a key rebound.
Pat Riley calling out the fist play again. They'll try and set something up for Patrick down low. Instead, it's Gerald Wilkins who pops out. Ewing sets the block. It is Ewing, and it is way outside. Oakley, with so few rebounds tonight, came up with a big, powerful one there, and a foul.
Offensive rebounding is his forte. Charles got the job done on that play.
The Knicks inbound off the foul, charged to Alexander Volkov. Jackson off the glass, and beautifully done over Volkov. It is 92-88, Atlanta by 4.
What a move by Jackson, and Willis thought the offensive foul was going to be called, and it wasn't.
So a mini charge by the Knicks after the timeout. They've taken an 8-point lead and shaved it in half. Graham gets around McDaniel, but met by Oakley. The team defense of the Knicks providing that. Jackson falls down, tripped from behind. Now a whistle.
Good foul by Oakley. It would have been a 3-on-1 with only Ewing back.
Pat Riley is really giving it to Steve Javy. And all he had to say was get back in front of the bench. Dominique Wilkins to the line. 37 points. Fourth foul on Charles Oakley, who has taken 2 shots, made them both, and pulled down 4 rebounds. What I would have to say is extensive minutes. I don't have the up to the minute Charles has been out there. Under 8 minutes to go in the 4th. Hawks by 6. Gerald Wilkins. Rebound by Kevin Willis. Willis, that is rebound number 18. So he's at his average. Graham. Oh, boy. Whoever scouted him knew what they were doing. And this is a player that they signed and cut and had to re-sign again when Travis Mays went down. Ewing over Willis and way off.
It's reminiscent of last night, as you mentioned. One shot, and if it's a miss, that's the end of the story.
Romeo Robinson for Blair Rasmussen. Inside. side for Willis. The jump hook.
Oh, is he playing with confidence?
And the Hawks are rolling. Their biggest lead is 10, and that's what it is. 98-88. And they are standing at the Omni. Pat Riley has 6:53 to come up with some answers. The Knicks will be at the Meadowlands on Tuesday night. That game will be carried on Sports Channel as per the agreement between us and New Jersey and Sports Channel. Wednesday game night, 7 o'clock. We'll begin our coverage of the New York Knicks and the Seattle Supersonics as the Knicks return home after 4 straight on the road. Things are not going well. Hawks by 10.
Kevin Willis moments ago with that jump hook shot at 7 feet, and that hook shot itself makes it impossible to block. And he's getting stronger and stronger, it seems.
How about one more Kevin Willis number? Coming into tonight's game, Willis had 311 rebounds on the season. The Knicks' entire team, 400. 311. He's right up there, comparable with the entire Knicks team.
I would say he has a very good chance, Al, of making the All-Star team for the first time.
And no one would have predicted that before the season started.
Patrick Ewing on a tough shot.
Patrick Ewing increases his numbers now at 34 points.
I can remember Willis giving Mike Fratello fits for years, all that skill, and he had very impressive numbers here. He's now in his 6th season, but never as great as he is this year. Dominique again, baseline.
Dominique's at the big 4-0. John Starks drives around Dominique, tries to take it to the baseline. Anthony for Starks, who's thinking 3. He stepped on the line. He stepped on the line. He went back out to the stripe and didn't go back far enough.
Dominique now has scored his season high, as has Paul Graham.
Dominique now with 79 points in his last 2 games. And as you mentioned, John, this is after a shooting slump. He's shooting only 42% on the season, but that'll change after a night like tonight, 15 of 22.
You have to assume Pat Riley feels that Dominique's brother, Gerald, is best equipped to guard him, knowing his moves so well. But that 4-inch height advantage Dominique enjoys is killing Gerald.
By the way, in order to get the record straight as to who might get the credit for someone like Paul Graham, who's having a night like you almost can't believe tonight, Bob Weinauer, I'm told, the assistant coach for the Atlanta Hawks, is the one who scouted him somewhere along the USBL trail on one of those lonely nights in one of those.
Right. In August.
One of those hotels where you don't go on vacation. And Graham is paying dividends tonight. Greg Anthony, John Starks, Xavier McDaniel, Gerald Wilkins, Patrick Ewing. And a foul on the Hawks, who lead by 10.
Yes, the USBL is a summer league.
Greg Anthony pressured by Ramil Robinson on the inbound. Wilkins gets the pick from McDaniel and then goes all the way to the hoop. Pat Riley very active on the sidelines, working those cough drops. Kevin Willis guarded by Ewing, and a great steal by Patrick. Shovels it forward for Anthony. Starks thinking 3 again. This time he's got the distance and got the range.
So tough to do what he did. He faked first. He got rid of the defense and then had the poise to make it.
John Starks brings the Knicks to life and to within 5 of the Atlanta Hawks. It's Saturday night, and that means the MSG Sports Desk goes 30 minutes tonight. Navy stole the Mules and stole the game today in that classic. They'll have the highlights. Bulls and Sixers. Akeem Olajuwon returned tonight, surprisingly quick. Speaking of quick, Mike Quick's high school report is also part of the Sports Desk's report tonight. Well, the Knicks are making it interesting with just under 5 minutes to go. Their 9-4 run over the last 3 minutes has drawn them to within 5. Ramil Robinson, point guard for Atlanta, guarded by Greg Anthony, who mans that position for the Knicks. Stacey Augmon drives on McDaniel, looks outside for Dominique. 42 points on the night for Dominique. Inside for Kevin Willis. Stripped again by Ewing. That's 2 steals in the last minute or so. Ewing on Kevin Willis. Knicks will keep the ball at the other end.
Ewing had great defensive awareness to get that ball. John Starks once again making a very interesting presence. Going into last night's game, Al, in Boston, Ewing and John Starks had accounted for 50% of the total Knicks fourth quarter points this season. And last night, he had 9 of the team's 19 points in the fourth quarter. He's got 5 now going to the line. 5 points now in the fourth quarter on those 2 prior jump shots.
Starks has had double-figure points off the bench in 6 of the last 7. There he connects for another point of impact in this fourth quarter. Starks with 4 of 9 from the field, 11, making 12 points with a 3-pointer and a shot from the outside that should have been a 3-pointer were it not for his toe on the line. Knicks within 3.
And he's got 7 of the 19 that the Knicks have now in the fourth quarter.
Maurice Cheeks in to run the Atlanta Hawks show. Ramil Robinson guarded by Starks. Ewing has really turned up the defense, and he gets some help from Xavier McDaniel, but the Knicks get whistled for the foul. Pat Riley, who's been working the officials pretty good tonight, winces at the call.
McDaniel comes over to help out now with Willis getting the ball in good position down low. Officials saw that as a foul.
Well, Kevin Willis, that his 13th point to go with 17 rebounds, and there you see the rolling rampage of Kevin Willis. 31 rebounds against the Mavs on December 3rd. 18 rebounds in the game so far to correct the number. It's just about at his season average at 17.6. 104.99 with 3:55 to go. Gerald Wilkins inside for Ewing. Backs and spins on Willis. Rebounded by McDaniel. Loose ball foul against the Knicks. It'll be on McDaniel.
Good effort by McDaniel, though.
Xavier McDaniel, his 4th personal team penalty.
4th personal foul on Xavier McDaniel, who got his full share of minutes last night after seeing only 14 minutes of action in consecutive games.
Because of foul problems, 4 fouls early in both of those games limited his playing time. But he, too, like the rest of his team, was quiet in the second half in Boston last night. I don't think he's been loud enough here in the third and fourth quarter either.
I agree. 44 points for Dominique, who, by the way, holds the club record of 57 in one game, set in 1986. Starks kicks it outside for Gerald Wilkins. The 3-pointer is in. 106-102. 3.5 to go.
Interesting how Bobby Weiss is using Maurice Cheeks' skills throughout much of this second half.
Kevin Willis pulls up and hits it.
Boy, talk about the new wave of big men. Willis, a jump shooter, no problem at all.
Starks pestered by Robinson. Knicks down by 6. Wilkins, great fake, but he travels and trying to get the shot off. Now, we've talked about Paul Graham an awful lot tonight. Watch how quickly he gets back on defense after Wilkins flies him through the air. Timeout on the floor. It is a 20-second timeout.
Talking to Paul Graham before the game about the unlikelihood of him making the NBA, he said, I've just been very lucky. Timing's been right. And he is backing up his luck with some play here.
Now, John, watch he's out of the play. Now he's back in it.
And Gerald took an extra step, committing that very costly turnover.
The New York Rangers will take on another one of the original 6, the Boston Bruins. That'll be Sunday at 7:30. Following game night, which begins at 7, right here on MSG, the best in the game. Well, there is Paul Graham, who off the bench has shot 7 of 11 and put up a season high 18 points. 5 rebounds, too.
Paul Graham listed at 6'6".
And a foul on Greg Anthony as the Hawks and Ramil Robinson came out of the backcourt. Anthony had offensive foul on his mind, but he did not draw it. And Pat Riley is giving him a mouthful.
Anthony being run into a pick, and he gave out the punishment. Anthony gave it out. Not a smart foul. It's a macho strength foul, but very costly when you're trying to come back from 6 down with 2:50 to go.
Robinson only makes 6 of 10 free throws. Well, that's been the number he's put up so far this season. Misses the first, makes the second. It is 109-102. 2:50 to go. Knicks have gotten 2 long-range three-pointers so far in this comeback attempt.
Meanwhile, Maurice Cheeks is having his own quiet, as usual, impact.
Ewing guarded by Willis. Inside is McDaniel, slithering through and blowing the layup.
Somehow, Al, if you've got the killer instinct, you just don't let that happen. Anybody can miss shots, but I don't know how strong Xavier went up to that basket. Not strong enough.
Chance 2:15 to go off the Hawks miss. Anthony. Wilkins for 3. On the mark. 109-105. It's a 4-point game with 2 minutes to go. Dominique Wilkins brings it across the floor. Hawks trying to improve their record to 11-8. Stolen attempt, stealing attempt by Anthony.
Oh, what a play he made. What a play he made.
A foul on Dominique. He picked just the right moment to go for the ball.
Greg Anthony showing his athletic skills, going way up to deflect that pass, way up in the air, forcing Dominique to retaliate. And a surprise that call was to him.
22nd timeout on the floor. Greg Anthony went over to towel off. He got something on his hands that he wanted to get off. The Knicks and Hawks identical from beyond the stripe. 2 of those Knicks three-pointers have come after Atlanta had enjoyed a 10-point lead. Knicks called a timeout and then started to try and turn the tide.
Coming into the game tonight, the Atlanta Hawks have made 35 three-point shots for the season. The Knicks 34.
By the way, coming up on MSG, the Ring Boxing Report, and then, of course, MSG Sports Desk at 11. That's the Ring Boxing Report and the MSG Sports Desk as our night of TV continues on MSG.
Well, the pattern for the use of the backcourt by Pat Riley once again sees Starks and Anthony finishing the game along with Wilkins.
And not Mark Jackson. 1:52 remaining. Knicks down by 4. Greg Anthony to the line. The Knicks 80% and now a little bit better from the line as Anthony draws them to within 3. Anthony 0 for 3 from the floor, but perfect from the line at 3 for 3.
Gerald Wilkins was coming in for a move he made a couple of years ago against the Clippers. The closing moments of that game for a tip-in.
Check that 4 for 4, obviously, for Greg Anthony. Ramil Robinson bounces one for Willis. A lot of traffic underneath. Robinson off the mark, but Willis is in for a big rebound and fouled on the follow.
The reason you box a player out is to take away his jumping room. If you want to get into a jumping contest with a player like Willis, you're really asking for problems. Ewing made the initial attempt, but he didn't work hard enough at it, and Willis eluded him. And Willis has great spring along with the 7 feet height.
Rolls in for Kevin Willis. Once again, a 3-point lead for Atlanta. 1:33 to go.
75% from the line this season for Willis. Not bad.
Anthony spins both cheeks around. Gerald Wilkins guarded by Paul Graham. Now picked up by Dominique. Starks can't get the layup to go, but a big drop by Xavier McDaniel. Once again, a 2-point lead with 70 seconds to go. Maurice Cheeks looking for Dominique. travel.
Big call. Hawks going to Dominique with the height advantage over Gerald.
A couple of big plays involving Dominique negatively in the last 2 minutes. He had the ball stolen. He travels there. 44 points, a big part of the Hawks offense. But right now their lead is 2 under a minute.
Knicks have shown a lot of character here, battling back.
And a whistle underneath, I believe, involving Kevin Willis. It is. Pushing Patrick Ewing.
Kevin Willis, his fourth personal team penalty.
Patrick Ewing will step to the, is it Patrick Ewing? No, it is Xavier McDaniel who'll step to the free throw line with a chance to tie this game with 51.9 seconds to go. (111-110).
Xavier, a 67% shooter from the line this season.
And he'll have a chance to think about the second shot to tie the game. With 51.9 to go, there is a timeout on the floor at the Omni in Atlanta. It has been a slowly developing comeback, but a successful one nonetheless. With 51.9 seconds to go, Xavier McDaniel has a free throw coming that could tie the game, and there's the timeout story. 2 apiece, Knicks and Hawks.
Knicks getting a field goal seconds ago off of John Stark's drive. Looks like an easy 2, but Xavier McDaniel right there to finish it off. Xavier now in position to add another 2. He's already gotten 1.
McDaniel ties the game with 51.9 to go. That is 16 points to go with 5 rebounds for McDaniel. And now a whistle in front of the Knicks bench. They're saying that the 24-second clock is not in sync with the game clock or something like that. There was 51.9 seconds on the clock when McDaniel stepped to the line. The game clock now says 49.1. And what they're going to do is tell the Atlanta Hawks, just inbound again. Nothing happened, so just make believe you never inbounded the ball. It's a do-over.
Amazing to me, Bobby Weiss still going with Paul Graham and Maurice Cheeks. Guys who have been on the end of the bench certainly for much of the season, and Cheeks is so reliable with the ball, as everyone knows, and Graham has had his career high here in his first year.
So it was 10 seconds that never happened, but this is definitely happening now. 10 on the 24. Ramil Robinson drives on Starks. They look inside for Willis. Tough shot. Kept alive. McDaniel with a big rebound.
Gerald Wilkins played some defense on his brother, denying the pass to him.
And the 2 big Atlanta Hawks heroes were right there in the middle of it. Dominique and Kevin Willis, and the ball just got away from him.
Pat Riley, no timeout. They're going for it.
Anthony, 5 on the 24. Scoops. Too hard off the glass, but the foul.
Hawks fouls on the 22, Ramil Robinson.
With 8.2 seconds to go.
Greg Anthony at the line, shooting 2.
Knicks with 2 timeouts elected to go for it.
Now Greg Anthony gives the Knicks the 1-point lead. On the season, Anthony shooting 66% from the line, but tonight he is 5 for 5. Volkov checks in. Cheeks is pulled.
The feeling is the reason you don't call a timeout, although 80% of the time the coach will, is because it gives the defense too much time to get ready and stiffen up. Pat Riley elected to have his team go for it, and it paid off.
In contrast, Bob Weiss does want to talk it over, set something up, and the Knicks will have a chance to figure out how to set up defensively. They have snuck into the lead with 8.2 seconds to go. Not too long ago, the Atlanta Hawks led the Knicks 98-88, a 10-point bulge. Since then, the Knicks explode, outscore Atlanta 25-13, and the similarity to last night's game in Boston is over. Here's the timeout story for the Knicks and the Hawks with 8.2 seconds to go and a 2-point lead. Greg Anthony had the 2 free throws to give the Knicks the the lead. And here's after the first one, a little mid-range 5.
Now there is a similarity in that the Knicks are on the better end of the fourth quarter. Last night they were outscored 35-19 in the fourth. They have turned it around in favor of them with a tremendous, courageous comeback here.
All eyes on Dominique Wilkins with 8.2 seconds to go.
Cannot foul the shooter. Cannot foul the shooter.
Wilkins on the drive, met all kinds of Knicks and scoops it in with 2.3 to go.
But they knew they couldn't foul him.
He has done it all night. He did it right there. He ties the game with 2.3 to go. Whose number will the Knicks call? We'll see in a moment. That is the story in Atlanta. The Knicks roaring back to lead with just over 8 seconds to go. Dominique Wilkins with his scoop to the hoop for 46 points now to tie this game, and Pat Riley is setting the stage for what will happen in the last 2.3.
Well, Gerald is the man. Not only does he get by his brother, but he also greets Patrick Ewing with an answer. He always has something to present, and he certainly did it at the right moment in getting what has become his career high against the New York Knicks.
His Atlanta Hawks high 57, right now 46.
Al, I don't think it's going to be Ewing unless Ewing is out for the long jump shot, because it'll be too much to get it inside and they won't get a clear shot necessarily. Let's see, McDaniel on the inbounds.
Well, you know what? The Knicks led by 11 in the first half, Hawks by 10 in the second. It was tied at the half. It's tied now. This game has had a lot of symmetry to it. It is McDaniel, Anthony, Ewing, Starks, and Wilkins.
Could be a Gerald.
McDaniel. Starks pops out, looks to be the hero, and is not for now. He worked to get the shot. He had the touch in the fourth quarter, but right there, he went a little bit long. So into overtime we go. 113 to 113 at the end of regulation. It seemed like it was a long 2.3 seconds for John Starks to set up for what could have been the game winner. 17-18 footer, worked himself clear but hit the back of the rim, and we go to overtime at the Omni. First OT experience for both teams this season.
Gerald Wilkins with 22, Dominique with 46. They have met prior to tonight 30 times over the previous 6 years. Dominique averaging 30. 3.8 better than his career mark. Gerald averaging 15 throughout those. And look at the time John Starks had 2.9 seconds. And as you can see, had he made it, there'd be a lot of jumping around going on in the Knicks locker room. However, John Starks and his teammates pulled a dramatic turnaround in the late moments of the fourth quarter with a 25-15 edge in scoring to deadlock this game.
All right, after a discussion at the scorer's table, on we go into overtime. 5 minutes, of course, and Atlanta starts off with the basketball. Stacey Augmon with Maurice Cheeks.
Augmon and Cheeks not scorers for this team.
Paul Graham driving on John Starks. A career-high night for him. Augmon follows and is fouled in the attempt.
Augmon at 6'8" creates problems on the boards. A forward in college, a guard now in the pros. It's been fairly invisible tonight scoring-wise. Only 4 points, but he has had some pretty big games this season. In fact, over his last 4 games, he has been in double figures.
Now the Hawks strike first here in the overtime session. And Stacey Augmon gives Atlanta a 115-113 lead. So for Augmon, 6 points on the night. It's Greg Anthony with 6 points, all from the free throw line. Maurice Cheeks watches that pass go over to McDaniel. He is off the mark, and Dominique Wilkins is there for the rebound, and a whistle and a loose ball foul against the Knicks.
Loose ball foul, number 21.
Called on Gerald Wilkins.
His fifth personal, second team foul.
The Knicks are shooting at 51%, so are the Hawks, and that seems appropriate for a game that goes to overtime. McDaniel short. Willis way up for the rebound. McDaniel scooped finally by Starks. Knicks up the floor. Gerald's got space. Ties it up.
Just in case, Starks was hanging around the rim after that shot went up.
After struggling for 3 quarters, John Starks has found the range at the right time, delivering 12 points off the bench for the Knicks. He forces Graham to go high with a weird-looking shot, but fouls him in the process.
Well, Graham kept going and taking what the defense gave him. They didn't give him much, but he still was able to get the shot off and draw the foul, not be denied. That's the art. The ability to get the shot off and draw the foul when you're played well. And that's an art that you don't teach. Those are instincts a player has, and Graham has plenty of them. And look at the time he's getting. Al, we came to the Omni tonight saying, who is Paul Graham?
That's absolutely
true. Imagine how Pat Riley felt and his staff.
The NBA will know a little bit more about him tomorrow.
By the way, who is Paul Graham?
I'll tell you after the game.
Okay.
He's a great player. Unbelievable. Hawks 116, Knicks 115. Knicks getting a bit of a break. Ewing gives the Knicks the 1-point lead. Cheeks shakes his head no in a play that was developing under the hoop. Looks for something else. Goes to Stacey Augmon, working on McDaniel.
Augmon doesn't want to shoot.
Kevin Willis poked away by Gerald Wilkins, but out of bounds. 6 seconds remaining on the 24-second clock for the Hawks.
Pat Riley's athletic instincts when the ball was coming to him, he got out of the way in case he'd be called for being out of bounds off him.
Paul Graham picked up by Starks on the inbound. Willis guarded by Ewing. Backing into the hoop. He's had a great night. So has Paul Graham. But he's off the mark there as the 24-second clock expires. But the Hawks get another cycle.
And it's Maurice Cheeks grabbing that offensive board.
Dominique double team. Cheeks with a rare shot tonight, and he hits it. He's picking his moments. Atlanta with the lead again. 118-117. 2:47 to go in overtime. Crowd chanting defense.
Anthony looking for the target.
Wilkins. He is on target. It is the Knicks lead again. Back and forth they go, the Hawks and the Knicks. Working on the odd point differential now. 2.5 to go. Dominique with a 46-point night. Tight defense by the Knicks. 8 on the 24. And it falls away, but it'll go for the Knicks.
Offensive foul on Paul Graham, biting off more than he can chew on that move, forcing the play. You know, it's amazing too, Al, is the Knicks are playing a back-to-back situation. They played in Boston last night. They're showing plenty of energy and plenty of desire here. The Hawks have been off since Thursday night. Paul Graham fouling out.
7 of 13 from the floor, 5 rebounds, 19 points. Remarkable night.
Certainly has been. Talk about back-to-backs, though. Last week the Celtics were here for a back-to-back, having played the night before, and they got blown out by 27. Back-to-back games are tough.
2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Ewing over Blair Rasmussen. Pulled down by Stacey Augmon. Knicks still have the 1-point lead. Overplaying his brother was Gerald Wilkins. He overplayed a bit too much. Called for the foul.
Foul is on number 21, Gerald Wilkins.
Gerald called on the foul. Now they're saying that that is his 6th. That's one more than I had, but it looks as though Gerald is fouled out of the game. And Charles Oakley is sent in. Oakley, Ewing, and McDaniel. McDaniel has 5. Oakley and Ewing have 4.
Gerald Wilkins, Al, excuse me, had a 20-point second half. 26 overall.
Gerald shooting 11 of 18 and finishing with 26. Game is tied at 119. Dominique gives Atlanta the lead. He now has 48 points for Atlanta. ticking down in overtime. Atlanta 120, Knicks 119. John Starks had a chance to win it with 2.3 to go. This time drives the lane and is fouled on the drive.
This is the moment when you want players other than Ewing to want the basketball. Cheeks is allowing Greg Anthony all kinds of room. This guy wants the ball. I feel the guy that should step up is McDaniel. He should want the ball.
John Starks ties the game at 120. He's an 83% free throw shooter on the season. He has 13 and now 14 points. And another brief timeout to discuss something at the scorer's table, and a timeout has been called on the floor by the Atlanta Hawks. 1:39 to go. The Knicks leading Atlanta by 1. The New York Knicks leading the Atlanta Hawks by 1 with 1:39 to go in a game that was tied at the half. Saw the Hawks grab a 10-point lead at 98-88. And then the Knicks put on a 25-15 run to send this game to overtime. Foul trouble. Gerald Wilkins out. McDaniel with 5. Paul Graham out. Ramil Robinson with 5.
John Starks did not score in the first half. He's got 14 points now. Boy, he is Mr. Tense.
He has 5 of the Knicks' 8 points in overtime.
Meaning when the moment is tense, he steps up and scores, and he has done it once again.
Maurice Cheeks picked up by Greg Anthony. The Knicks defense has played well in the overtime, forcing the Hawks to keep an eye on the 24-second clock. Dominique Wilkins is fouled under the hoop.
It's scary how easy he went around Xavier McDaniel. One big step and he was gone. Dominique is blowing by everybody. Dominique has established a record in the sense that no Hawk has ever scored as many points against the Knicks as he has.
That is the 5th personal foul for Patrick Ewing. Dominique ties the game at 121 with 1:23 to go. Points for Dominique Wilkins on 16 of 25 shooting from the floor and 16 of 18 shooting from the free throw line.
Just checked Dennis D'Agostino from the Knicks Public Relations Office. I said, does that also include the Bob Pettit days? He said, yes, Patrick Ewing with a big answer.
And a chance at a three-point play.
Ewing doing his version of Dominique Wilkins. What a tough shot. He made it look so easy. That was a mini hook shot.
And you know, Dominique Wilkins has overshadowed a 40-point night for Patrick Ewing. Chance here to give the Knicks a 2-point lead. It's been bouncing back and forth at 1 point for you, 1 point for me for most of the overtime. Knicks lead it 124 to 122. Patrick Ewing with 39 points. Mo Cheeks. Dominique quickly double teamed by Starks and McDaniel. 5 on the 24. 3, 2. Dominique forces it off the mark. Willis follows. The game is tied again at 124.
It's got to be so puzzling for a coach as to why Oakley wouldn't try and box him away.
19th rebound of the game for Kevin Willis. Ties the game. Starts for Ewing over Rasmussen. Followed by McDaniel. And Oakley was in there, but the Hawks have the ball. 19 seconds to go. And a timeout is called. 14.9 to go. The Knicks had a chance underneath, but it is the Hawks who have the ball. We will be back in a moment. Well, there's the story for Bob Weiss and the Hawks and Pat Riley and the Knicks. 124 to 124 with 14.9 to go.
Dominique Wilkins drawing Ewing. That means somebody big is around the basket. And he is. Another look at it from a different angle. Ewing came out and succeeded in distracting the shooter. No question who contest.
What a night for Kevin Willis, John. 20 points and 19 rebounds, his 17 straight double-double, and he reaches that by an easy margin. By the way, Dominique Wilkins, 50 points in the game. That is the most points for him in 3 years. It is the most points against the Knicks since Jordan scored the same total in 1986. Remember, Bernard King challenged it that one great night at the Garden last year, but he did not reach the magical 50-point level.
Blair Rasmussen.
Hawks have the ball with 14.9 to go. Knicks had their chances last time up the floor, but the Atlanta Hawks came up with a big rebound. Ramil Robinson sliding around Starks, who recovers nicely. Dominique way outside, guarded by Xavier.
You don't want the game to end on the foul line either.
17 seconds to go. Dominique may have to force it. Cheeks. Ramil Robinson is wide open and way short. We're going to double overtime. A wild exchange that brings a smile to the face of Pat Riley. Dominique Wilkins lost the ball at a very inopportune time with about 6 seconds to go.
The key thing there was the Knicks created proper defensive pressure without fouling.
So, a lot to think about. Problems among them, foul trouble for Patrick Ewing. Well, the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks moving into overtime in a very splashy fashion. One overtime, not good enough. We'll play 2 tonight at the Omni, 124 to 124.
Well, Ramil Robinson had the position that John Starks enjoyed at the end of regulation. The Hawks are played tough here. McDaniel doing a good job forcing Wilkins away from the hoop. Cheeks over to Robinson. He has the time to line it up. Just like in golf, you fall short on the big putt. You fall short on the big shot.
He missed that by a lot. You know, they say when you're missing short, you're not shooting right.
Noteworthy also to look at Pat Riley in these tense moments when the team comes back sweating, pouring it out, as cool as ever. He greets the team with that cool and proceeds to talk to him about what he wants them to try and execute.
Now, last word of encouragement for Patrick Ewing, and maybe a word of caution by Pat Riley. Ewing and McDaniel both playing with 5, as are Ramil Robinson and Kevin Willis. So some very crucial players right on the cusp of foul danger.
Or the bubble.
Exactly, same thing. Cusp, bubble. Atlanta gets the ball off the tip. The Knicks send the same unit out to the floor. Very limited use in the late stages of the 4th quarter and in the overtime by Pat Riley of his bench. Dominique Wilkins working on McDaniel, spinning, drawing a crowd again. That leaves Cheeks open, and he's 2 for 2 in overtime.
If he must, he will shoot, and he certainly is a clutch player.
126 to 124. Anthony sees Starks popping out. Anthony's wide open, but has to be a little gun shy about shooting. Draws the foul, and it's on him. Offensive foul on Greg Anthony on the drive.
Greg Anthony and John Starks have gone the bulk of the way here for the last 15 minutes or so.
And now Greg Anthony joins the list of the endangered species on the floor. 4 fouls. Kevin Willis out high. 10 seconds to go on the 24. In the hands of Dominique. Those hands have delivered 50 points tonight. Cheeks open. This time off, and it's all Knicks underneath. 126, 124.
Okay, who wants the ball at this end other than Ewing?
I know Starks does. Cheeks almost steals it. John Starks off the bench for 14 points after a very slow start. He started out 1 for 6 much earlier in the game. Anthony into Ewing with 5 on the 24. In and out, followed by Starks, but out of bounds. Atlanta ball.
If you want the ball on offense, you have a way of telling your teammates that. It starts with your hands up, and then it finishes with your mouth yelling for the ball.
Stacey Augmon very quiet offensively. Moves to the lane, looks outside for Cheeks. Oakley staying tight with Kevin Willis. And Willis can't get it to drop. Followed and rejected then by Patrick Ewing. Anthony slows up the Knicks' progress up the floor, spins around, and then brings it across. 3 minutes to go in the second overtime here at the Omni in Atlanta. Starks, quick release. Off the mark. Dominique with some room and a wild scramble underneath. I think it's going to be an offensive foul on Dominique Wilkins. It is.
Dominique wanting to explode to the hoop. He tries to pull back, but Starks made a great play by getting to the spot.
Quick reaction by Starks to get into position as well. So now there are 2:49 to go, and the Knicks still trying to tie this one up, down by 2.
You don't see McDaniel coming to the ball with his hands up.
Ewing, here's Xavier McDaniel wide open and off, followed by Oakley. Couldn't get the rebound. Now Starks does, and the game is tied. John Starks is Mr. Overtime for the Knicks. He has tied this game at 1:26. Clock ticking toward 2 minutes to go. This has been an extremely even game.
What makes you think so?
And it is playing out again. I mean, but from the start. Ewing with the Hawk miss.
What's tremendous for the Knicks' effort is the physicality of the second half and the overtimes.
150. Ewing drives and slams it in to give the Knicks the lead. Patrick Ewing making no doubt about it. There was plenty of Atlanta defense there. He just beat them all. The Knicks have the 128-126 lead with 1:47 to go in the second overtime here at the Omni. All right, back with you courtside in Atlanta. Lots to talk about here. The Knicks getting an explosive basket. I mean, and the timing, all things considered, enormous for Patrick Ewing. It pushes him over the 40-point mark on the night. He's got 41 now. The Knicks have the lead 128-126 with 1:47 to go.
Xavier McDaniel on the open jump shot. John Starks will follow Charles Oakley's attempt at putting that up. Starks at 6'4", but he extends so well to the basket, getting the ball and then finishing the play. Patrick Ewing now working as a forward. Blair Rasmussen watches him come by. Rasmussen gives ground, gives Ewing what he wants on that play, and what a price he pays.
A happy moment for Patrick Ewing, who so far this season has dispelled the no big hoop reputation that he had developed over the years.
Down the stretch, yes, he has. There are all kinds of games now that are building to show Patrick Ewing rising in closing moments, but he is getting help tonight as well.
Well, if you came to this basketball game and someone said, well, you're going to see two of the big stars, Patrick Ewing and Dominique Wilkins, how could you be disappointed that combined those two men score 91 points tonight? Knicks have the lead, 1:35 to go in the second overtime. Augment looking more to pass.
Good effort by Ewing, though, bothering the shooter.
Stacey Augment went high for the rebound, but is called for the foul. The Knicks now have a chance to make a move. And loosen things up a bit.
4 points might be an insurmountable lead.
Greg Anthony, back pass Ewing. McDaniel is open, but so is Starks. Three-pointer! John Starks gets Pat Riley.
I mean, the guy wants the ball.
Riley charging up and down in front of the bench. Wilkins tries to answer. Is off. Starks and Augment battle for the ball, and it will belong to Atlanta.
Oh,
it is a 5-point Knick lead.
We had a good angle here. It looked like it went off Atlanta.
Stacey Augment will inbound. Pat Riley extremely charged up in front of the Knick bench, and why not? The last 30 seconds has been Huge for the Knicks, and there's John Starks with a bad Wilkins miss. Less than a minute to go. Well, coaches tell you all the time, if you work hard, good things can happen. Can't be a better test for the Knicks than to say how hard they worked tonight to see what could happen. McDaniel charges. It will be Nick Ball with 5 seconds to go on the 24-second clock, and Pat Riley calls timeout. Some obvious frustration and disappointment on the bench of the Atlanta Hawks for what the Knicks have done to them in the last minute of this basketball game. We'll be back for the last 42.9 in a moment. 42.9 seconds to go. Strategically, a good timeout for Pat Riley. Gives the Knicks a chance to catch their breath and set something up with 5 seconds to go on the 24.
There have been a lot of points in close tonight, shown, indicated here by Dutch Boy in the paint numbers. The Knicks with 40, the Hawks with 52. And look at Kevin Willis's numbers: 20 points, 19 rebounds. Ewing overwhelming offensively with 41 points himself. Knicks moving the ball around beautifully, and John Starks adding a three-pointer. He was there at the end of the game, and isn't it nice for him that he got another opportunity to plaster the Hawks with a key jump shot? This time he made it.
It's just another big 19-point night for John Starks. 131 to 126, 42.9 to go. Knicks with 5 on the 24. McDaniel gets it in just barely to Anthony. X-Man, the turnaround. Now the Knicks have a lead now of 7 points, and there's a lot more to talk about for the Atlanta Hawks. There's a lot of emotion on this Knicks bench now as they erupt to a sea of high fives. Bob Weiss showing the face you might expect.
And the crowd is leaving quickly. Knicks patient with the basketball. Anthony, the nice bounce pass, and Xavier McDaniel puts some topping on this Knicks lead with that nice soft jump shot. Maurice Cheeks could not bother Xavier on that shot.
Well, this has been a back and forth game. The first half it was the Knicks blowing an 11-point lead, tied at the half at 56. Then in the second half, Atlanta got off to a good start. In the fourth quarter, led 98-88. Then the Knicks put on a spurt. In the second overtime, you can see that Atlanta, with some very tight Knick defense, has faltered miserably, shooting only 1 of 8 compared to the Knicks' 50% shooting. And John, I look back at Kevin Willis's numbers in about 6 or 7 minutes to go. He had just pulled down his 18th rebound. He has 19 now. I'm talking back in regulation. Somehow, either he has taken himself out of the game or the Knicks have taken him out of the rebounding game. As you look at the people who bring this game to you tonight on MSG.
One of the points I think that really bears mentioning now, Al, is Pat Riley has put an awful lot of effort into conditioning and having his team practice long hours, which many people felt tongue-in-cheek too much for a pro team. They play so much. Conditioning is really showing itself. This is the second night in a row the Knicks have played a very tough physical game against quality competition, and they have shown no signs of fatigue. And these guys out here, for the most part, have been playing the last almost half of a game.
Have you seen that video for sale, the ad where Bill Parcells is kneeling in front of the Giants? It's an NFL video, and he says, that's why you lift all those weights. This is why. Well, this is why you run all those laps, as Atlanta has the ball now with a 7-point deficit and under 40 seconds to go. Kevin Willis, he's off the mark, and it's all Knicks underneath. The Hawks have fallen apart here in the second overtime, and a foul in the backcourt with 29.6 to go.
They have done it with character, conditioning, and effort to a great degree. That's the separation between these teams now.
A lot of what worked earlier in this game, Blair Rasmussen's play in the middle, and I mean, not outstanding, but certainly, competent and making Patrick Ewing work so hard for what he got. He virtually disappeared. Not a factor in the overtime sessions for Atlanta. Greg Anthony, perfect from the line, and the Knicks now lead it 135 to 126. It's one of those scores you say, oh, they won by 9. Then you look at it's double overtime, you almost can't believe it.
Dominique losing that ball.
Xavier McDaniel misses the layup, and Patrick Ewing is there for his 42nd and 43rd points of the night. Dominique with the easy dunk. sort of wild garbage time now with 15.2 to go. Those are the first 2 points that Dominique has put on the board since regulation time. 52 points for Dominique, 50 of them coming in regulation time. Only 2 points in the bonus 10 minutes, in which he could have challenged the all-time Hawks record.
Wait till Bobby Weiss gets a hold of him. Boy, is he going to chew him out.
What a lousy game you played in.
Sure, you got 50 in 48 minutes, but what happened in the other 10?
That's right. Anthony misses his first free throw of the night. The Knicks record will rise to 11-6. For the Hawks, the record will fall close to 500 at 10-9.
Knicks have now won 7 of 8.
Anthony misses both. This will just about do it. Alexander Volkov misses. McDaniel pulls it down, and the New York Knicks, fists in the air off the bench, have beaten the Atlanta Hawks with a dramatic fourth quarter comeback that saw them roar back from 98-88 down, put up a run of 25-15, send it into overtime, and then win it in double overtime in front of a big crowd at the Omni tonight. Pat Riley not going to his bench very often in the extra session, if at all, except for when Gerald Wilkins fouled out, and the Knicks win it 137-128. So the Knicks will head home to take on New Jersey, but a little bit more to talk about tonight, as the Evian Natural Spring Water Player of the Game is Patrick Ewing, 43 points on 18 of 33 shooting and 14 rebounds. Patrick Ewing leading the way for the Knicks tonight, who had 5 players in double figures. We'll have that and tell you a little bit more about this impressive Knick win in double overtime tonight when we come back in just a moment.